For you to be in a role like this now, being a leader, now being a CEO, that's quite a shift. Yeah?
It's a huge shift. And it's funny because it's all of the things. It's, you have imposter syndrome and you have I have no idea what I'm doing. But every day you get up and you show up and I'm so dedicated to my members and I want the best experience for them. I saw what CEOs have available and it's like, no, we as EAs we as executive assistants, we need to have that too. So it's just so important to me that I provide that. That's the driver. It's like, no, you can't fail. You can't not do it. You have to do it. So it's so much fun every single day, but it's very odd to be in this role, but I'm just having the best time.
Welcome to You Belong in the C-Suite podcast. You are ambitious in life and in your career, but something is missing. You want to bring more of your passion to what you do. Because let's be honest, you pour a ton into your work, and it needs to mean more. I'm your host, Laura Eigel. I'm a mom, wife, PhD, coach, advocate, introvert, and indoor rowing fanatic. I'm passionate about living a life that's in line with my values. We'll give you the actionable tips and tools you need to lead with your values, make a difference, and have career success. The world needs more diversity and authenticity in the top jobs at organizations. Your leadership belongs there. You belong in the C-Suite. If you've been listening to this podcast regularly, or if you know me well, you know I live a life and career aligned with my values, and I help others to do the same. Last weekend, I was out with a good friend. My leadership coach self can't help but ask my friends how their jobs are going. Work is such a big part of life, and there's so much change going on right now for everyone. After a long discussion, my friend called me a career therapist. It was the best compliment ever. No, I'm not a real therapist, but I can help you find career clarity, to give you clarity on what matters most. And that's why I've built the You Belong in the C-Suite group coaching program. In the 6-month program, I help you gain clarity on what matters most, create the action plan to get there, to reach career fulfillment, and lead as your authentic self. Here's what some of the program participants are saying. Because of this program, I've been more intentional about understanding my values and aligning my professional and personal life according to what I value most. I've also taken the time to deeply reflect on how I want to show up as a leader. This program has shown me that it's okay to make decisions that are truly in my best interests. I know that if I'm 100% true to myself, I can lead in more powerful and impactful ways. Another participant said, participating in this program helped me gain the clarity I needed on what was most important to me in my career. The exercises, reflections, and conversations with supported women have helped me to make a career change that I would not have otherwise made. The structured framework coupled with a dynamic dialogue allows for personalized experience in a group setting. Best of both worlds. If you are a high-achieving woman and want more fulfillment in your work, learn more at thecatchgroup.com. Apply to You Belong in the C-Suite group coaching program now.
Welcome to this bonus episode of the You Belong in the C-Suite podcast. I think this is our first bonus episode, and I am thrilled to introduce our guest, Jackie Ludwig. I've known Jackie for several years. We both used to work at a company together and are now both entrepreneurs out on our own, developing and growing others. Jackie is also a participant in the You Belong in the C-Suite group coaching program. It is so exciting to have seen her in her previous role and now transitioning in a new part of her career. Jackie is the CEO and founder of Lumini Network. As a career executive assistant, she has 20 years experience as a top-performing executive assistant, supporting executives leading the world's top companies in their industries. This includes leading brands such as YPO, Rolex, DHL, Supply Chain, and Korn Ferry. Before starting Lumini, she supported Sean McGinnis, president and COO of YPO. Sean is currently CEO of Mutual Capital Alliance. Over 2 years ago, she launched Lumini Network as a peer-to-peer community in the same model as YPO, but for executive assistants. Jackie's secret sauce is a system to get maximum value from the unique partnership performed between an EA and their C-suite executive. The system of curated tools and techniques was developed, tested, and validated in some of the most demanding professional environments. Her passion is to share this system with EAs on an international basis who seek the same rewarding partnership. As a testimony to the strength of the program, Lumini Network has recognized 20% of its members receiving promotions in the last 12 months, and their executive partners experiencing a 15 to 25% productivity improvement. Jackie is an Ohio native who resides in Dallas, Texas since 2005 with her husband, Dan. In her spare time, she is busy visiting family, including their 4 children and 10 grandkids who are sprinkled throughout the country. Jackie's career story is so inspiring to hear about. From EA to CEO, she truly belongs in the C-suite. I love her career path, as I think there are more and more women leaving the traditional corporate path to build their own companies. And on that journey, there's a lot of different things to learn and develop on. And Jackie invested in herself, which is such an on-brand thing for her to do, to model development for her team and her members. Jackie and I talked about her career story, the founding of her company, Lumini, the importance of investing in all levels of an organization. We also talked about how she builds capability for her members, how she uses her leadership and her values of building relationships, impact, and trust to lead her team. She also talks about how she's built her confidence moving into that CEO role. You'll also hear her talk about her experience in the group coaching program, and I cannot wait to see how Jackie and Lumini will continue to grow. Let's get started. Well, I want to welcome you to the You Belong in the C-Suite podcast. It's so exciting to have you here, Jackie.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun conversation. So I've had the pleasure of knowing you because we used to work together, and now we're working together in a different capacity, but and we'll get into all of that. But I'd love if you could tell us and the listeners a little bit more about yourself, about your story, and tell us anything you want about family, career path, all that kind of good stuff.
Great. Well, let's see. I started my career and thought that would be my career until I rode off into the sun as an executive assistant. I'll throw EA out there just because it's a habit. That's my little acronym. So I started as an executive assistant, spent about 20 years in that. Most recently, when you and I worked together, that's what I was doing. I was supporting a president and COO of a global organization. Loved doing that. He happened to decide to leave that role, move on to a bigger and different role, and took me with him. So I was like, oh, good. I'll get to stay with a leader that I've connected with in the executive assistant profession. When you find that one executive that you click with, I'll be here forever. So he and I left. I had always, in all of my roles, I had always wanted to grow and, be more and do more. Didn't want to grow up and out, but wanted to grow inside and increase my knowledge base, my skill sets. And the community network that I worked for with Sean, my executive, was just like my North Star. It's like, these CEOs have the best of the best in the whole world. How come I can't find that? Sean asked the same thing. When we left that organization, the gentleman in the family office that we went to work for, he too was part of that organization, asked the same questions. And one afternoon in a conversation, it just came up, well, why don't we start, that kind of community, a network, a peer-to-peer community for executive assistants? And I said, that would be awesome. And then the next line was, and you should run it. And it was pretty much just an, okay, and off to the races we go. So fast forward, I'm the CEO and founder of Lumini Network, which is a peer-to-peer community for executive assistants and their executives. And about just over a year ago, I was able to purchase the business. So now I'm all of the things. I'm the owner and the founder and the CEO, and that's been quite a journey.
When I heard of that shift and that journey for you, I could not have been more happy for you to step into a role like this. I feel like when we knew each other, when you were the executive assistant to Sean in that previous company, you wore so many hats all the time. You supported so many people,
Mm.
and you did it with, such diplomacy and leadership. And I just learned so much from you. For you to be in a role like this now, being a leader, now being a CEO, that's quite a shift. Yeah.
It's a huge shift. And it's funny because it's all of the things. It's, you have imposter syndrome and you have I have no idea what I'm doing. But every day you get up and you show up, and I'm so dedicated to my members and I want the best experience for them. I saw what CEOs have available, and it's like, no, we as EAs we as executive assistants, we need to have that too. So it's just so important to me that I provide that. That's the driver. It's like, no, you can't fail. You can't not do it. You have to do it. So it's so much fun every single day, but it's very odd to be in this role, but I'm just having the best time, the absolute best time.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the membership community that you have built for executive assistants and what you do? Like what do you do inside the community? How do you help them succeed in the partnership with the executives that they work with and partner with? And what is your role now versus the kinds of things you used to do?
So it's a community of executive assistants and their executives. I guess a lot of times I'll refer to it as an 80-20. So it's 80% for the EA and 20% for the executive. The EA, again, is doing all of the work, and the executive has a little input, but they're reaping all the benefits. That's their 20%. We're a network of executive assistants. We're nationwide, and we have 3 members in Panama at this time, growing every day. And basically what we do, we're built on a model that's similar to a number of different membership organizations. We have, when our members join, we put them in a group of 8 to 10 EAs, and we meet once a month. We'll go through methodologies. And that's kind of the tool that we use. Each month it's something different. It might be on calendar management or email management. The one that really gets the biggest bang is our meeting quality. It's checking to see, basically looking, doing an audit on each of your executives' meetings. Are the right people in the meeting? Are there too many people in the meeting? Is there an agenda? Who's capturing the action items? Those kind of things. I know when Sean and I used that back when we worked together, he had 9 direct reports and an hour every week with each one. And because we sat across the hall from each other and our offices were glass front, I could see what was going on in the meeting. And the first 30 minutes was a genuine meeting. Everybody was, head down we're talking, we're making progress. And as it moved past 35 into the 40-minute mark, there started to be that lean back in everybody's chair. And then you start seeing the laughing, and you could tell they were kind of joking around and everything. And then you'd get to the 45, 50-minute mark, and I could read Sean's face, this is no longer productive. I need to get out of here. So that's where we came up with this meeting quality. We'll have an agenda. Everybody comes to the meeting with their agenda. We whip through it, 30 minutes in and out. Ultimately, we went to every other week instead of every week. So, it was just carving back time for him, because as a busy executive, he needed that time because there was so much for him to do. And that was my job to just kind of take that back. So we teach the methodologies. Once a month, we'll bring in speakers. And I know you've come in and talked to our people a couple of times. You're our fan favorite. Everybody loves when Laura's coming. You talk to my people about boundaries, which as an executive assistant, we are terrible about setting boundaries. We say yes to everyone because, of course, we can help everyone. And sometimes you just need to say no. And it's okay to say no. It's all about how you say no. It's about saying no and then having the other person thank you for saying no. So we teach that. And it's an opportunity, oftentimes as an EA, as an executive assistant working with a C-suite, there's either no more EAs in the organization that you work in, and you can't really talk amongst yourselves. You don't have another peer in the organization like senior leaders often do. So this gives you that, Lumini gives you that opportunity. It's a group, we're all growth-minded EAs. And we come together when we have our conversations, our monthly meetings and things. Somebody might bring something up. We've had, here's what happened. Oh my gosh, everything went right. And then suddenly this blew up. Has anybody ever had this problem? Oh yeah, I've had that problem. Or how do I handle, or we've had a workplace violence incident. I don't know if I'm doing what I need to be doing. And it's just rallying around each other and supporting each other. And I ran into that buzzsaw. Let me save you that. Here's what I did. Or I'm here if you need me. I've never experienced this, but I'm here if you need anything. And it's a learning. Oh my gosh, let me write that down so I can check on that before I send my executive off so that doesn't happen to me. So it's just that great network. And we have, it's the opportunity to get your executives going to New York and needs, what's the coolest restaurant in New York? We've got a member portal. You pop it in there, ask the question. Somebody knows what it is.
I love what it says to me. Just the notion of it is that the executive and the EA have a good enough and a great enough relationship to invest in the EA. And I love that so much because that partnership can, it can make or break lots of people, their schedules, time management, like all the things. And that relationship, it feels like by investing in their direct report, who's managing so much, that they're also getting so much back for themselves from the executive perspective. But then I would imagine that there's other things that you help them build trust for each other, empower the EA more, like all of these kinds of things. And so they're able to take stuff off of the plate of the executive so that they have more time to do other things that they need to do, strategic thinking, whatever it is. And the EA can then be empowered to lead other things and goes beyond a traditional, like, quote unquote, executive assistant role. Is that what you find?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We just did some, with January, we kind of did a look back on the previous year and found that 20% of our membership have been promoted over just in this past 12 months time.
It's exciting.
Into bigger role, a lot of them within their own role, but into bigger titles, more responsibility, more, possibly even managing another assistant. So that was really exciting. Our executives, we've seen them getting 15 to 25% productivity back in their day, which is incredible. Because if you think about it, if something happens in the organization, who's the first person that executive turns to? They're turning to that person that sits right outside their door. Oh my gosh, this is happening. And the executive assistant is like, no problem. I have this, and this, she or he is grabbing everything, off and running, often finishing or resolving conflict or resolving issues as she's moving down the hall to get the IT people or to go and get another person. So it's such a wise investment, and especially in today's climate too. If the executive isn't investing in the EA, then he's going to lose her.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's just so many opportunities now in these kinds of roles that we need to start thinking about how are we investing in all of our people, regardless of title or level. And I think this is just a really cool model for development for executive assistants, but that at the end of the day benefits so many people beyond just the individual in the program. So as you moved into that new role, you shifted from being an executive assistant yourself to then becoming the CEO, entrepreneur, and now owner of Lumini. Yes. And so I want to hear, let's dig into like that for that journey and what that was like. And now it's shifting a lot of different things for you. And so I'd love to share, just to hear, like, what was that just initial, I know you jumped right in because you always do, but like, what was that like for you?
At first, it was uncomfortable. It was like, I'm used to working essentially in the business. Here's all of the little things that need done, give them to me. I could go, that's my safe space. That's my comfort zone. And it was, no, that's not what that's not the best use of my time. That's not what I need to be doing. I need to be thinking on a much bigger scale. I need to be being strategic. I need to be mapping out the business, creating a roadmap, creating the product, doing all of the things. So it was suddenly, am I the best person to be doing this particular task? And what I found was I needed help. So it was recognizing that, nope, I can't be all of the things at one time. So I had to make an executive decision. And I hired a member success manager who has been just absolutely phenomenal. She comes with so many ideas and so much energy. And I think for anybody that happens to sit in the same room with us while we're working, it gets a little overwhelming because the two of us get together and we talk really fast and we think the same thought. So neither one is really finishing a sentence. So it works perfectly. It's a great partnership, but she's really stepped up and taken on so many things. And I've been able to watch her grow. I've hired an executive assistant, a part-time one for now, but I know I have things that I can hand off. I need to hand this off. So everything becomes a question of, am I the best person to be handling this particular task? And if no, who would be able to do this better and faster than I, because I have these other things that I need to focus on and other priorities that I need to manage.
I love that you now have your own EA. I think that is on brand and that makes sense. And I love that you've started building out your team. And I've gotten the opportunity to watch you all in action at your first annual conference. And it was just so amazing to see you like in that space. I got to see you on stage as the CEO, and Jackie, I just loved it. You embodied, the leader that you are, but in just a different way with like this confidence about you. And it's been a really beautiful journey for me to watch.
Thank you. It was I'm not uncomfortable in front of people, but it was, there's that moment of, oh my gosh, there's things I have to say. But then once I kind of set that aside and just started talking. And as long as I just interact with them, like I still consider myself an EA in my head. So that's how I present everything. But it's like, no, I now sit in a position where I can do more and I can provide more to my EAs than I could just as an EA. Now I'm the CEO and I can garner more and contact people and do more things. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. And so we have connected in multiple different ways, since now that we're kind of on our own entrepreneurial paths. And so, like you said before, I was able to talk and do some workshops with your membership community. I was able to be a guest speaker at your conference and just learn from them and teach them, these skills around boundaries. But then also, I saw that shift in you and I was like, hey, you do belong in the C-suite. And guess what? You are in the C-suite. And so you decided to join the group coaching program. So I want to know, like, what made you decide to do it?
What made me decide was I knew that was my job, but I didn't feel, it's not like I'll take this class and I'll learn how to, I'll learn how to paint. There's not I'll take this class and learn how to be a CEO. So I was knowing that you're such an incredible teacher and that you've been in those roles in the C-suite. When you approached me, I'm like, oh yeah, I need this. So having the opportunity to be in a group setting where I'm interacting with other people in similar capacities, it's so helpful. Just the feedback that they provide and the insight, it's a great, great support structure. And the tools that you are providing, it's like, what's my homework? I got to do my homework. And then it's like, oh, the insights. Hello, didn't know that.
Yeah. What I love is that you are modeling the same thing that you have done for your community. So, it's important for them to have that, that tight knit group of people for support. And then you've given that and invested in yourself in the same way within the group coaching program. So what are some insights or any pivotal aha moments have you had? I know we're still in the program, so we'll still be working together for another couple of months, but what are some of those things that are self insights that you've had so far?
Well, that old habits die hard. So I need to, I'm a CEO now and I need to say that out loud. but I think the part about the boundaries, all of the focus that you put on boundaries and setting those, it's okay to have a boundary. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm not going to think about work or do work 7 days a week. As an entrepreneur, you know as well as I do, it's always in your head and your head's always going. But you need to set that boundary and say, you know what, I can have Saturday where I don't think about work this Saturday. I'm going to do, all of the things around my house that are piling up because I don't think about them the rest of the week. But it's a really great opportunity to set those boundaries, to learn about the boundaries, and to have people in your group that hold you accountable to them. You said you were going to do this. Did you do this? Sort of. Yeah. Kind of. Maybe.
Yeah, I really enjoy your cohort. Your cohort is virtual, and we have people from like 3 different countries in that cohort, from Canada, US, Australia, and it's really interesting to see how different, but then how very similar some of the things are as we think about your career paths.
Yeah. Yep. And the insights are really good, and they're great resources. It's like, wait, I need some reading on communication. And I know one of the gals in the cohort that's her thing. So I'm like, hey, what do you have on this? So just the resource that the resources they provide is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you most surprised about in your own journey? Like any self insights that have become an aha beyond boundaries that you uncovered through any of the exercises that you'd share?
I think just the confidence one. I would not put myself as one that's full of confidence, but sometimes you just have to show up that way. So it's just having my support group in my cohort that says, no, you can you just did this, Jackie. You just said it out loud. You can do that. So, and it's building that confidence and just building that muscle, like any other muscle that you have. It's just one that you just need to exercise. You need to practice. And with that exercise and with that practice, you become more successful at it.
One of my favorite things is to get direct messages on LinkedIn from female executives. They reach out to me directly, maybe on a not so great day after back-to-back meetings or being triple booked, after a day ruled by things not moving the needle. And they think, what are we even accomplishing here? I don't feel like I'm making an impact. They reach out to connect because they want a safe space to figure out what's next for their career. Because right now in their role, they know it doesn't feel right. Something is misaligned. They know it in their gut, and they've made a pivotal decision. And that's why this is one of my favorite things, because these leaders are ready to be intentional and strategic in their career. That feeling might sound similar to you. You might be watching others get promoted, seeing other people ascend to positions that are well beyond their skill set, and you feel frustrated and maybe not valued. I want to tell you that you can step into larger, higher paying roles while having boundaries you never even thought were possible. How would it feel to walk into your work week knowing that you have a list of challenging things ahead of you, that you have more control over your day? You might be shocked how calm and centered and focused that you feel. The opportunities are coming your way, and there's no part of you that's hesitating to consider them. I want you to get more strategic in your career, to figure out that next step, to land that promotion that you want, to feel like you are in charge of your week, to set the standard for how you work and how you show up. I know that you're ready. You're ready now. Join me and other high-achieving women in the 6-month group coaching cohort. Apply now at thecatchgroup.com/group coaching. That's thecatchgroup.com/group coaching. Learn more and apply today for the You Belong in the C-Suite group coaching program.
I have absolutely seen this change in you as you stepped into the CEO role. like you said, like in your mind, you're still an EA, which of course, because that has been the role that you've been in, but it's this idea of, okay, CEO Jackie, who is she? EA Jackie, who is she? And they are one and the same. And the confidence that you have sometimes when I knew you as an EA was like never ending, right? And you knew you could always get anything fixed or do or accomplished. And I've seen you carry that same confidence now into CEO Jackie. And it's just been a pleasure to see it literally on stage at your conference, but through all of the work that you've done in the program too.
It's fun. It's exciting. I think successes in the program, when I see that 20% of my members are getting promoted inside their role, or see the actual productivity improvements that executives are having, when you see this is really working, then that helps to build your confidence and reinforce that, yep, what you're doing is the right thing. And you just need to keep doing that.
Yeah, it is. It is the right thing. And I'm so excited that they get to learn from you, right? Because you've been in their shoes and you are role modeling all of the things that you did and you know that they work. And now it's all about, scaling and all of those kinds of things. It's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm having fun with it.
So how has this kind of the shift for you personally into kind of CEO and like stepping into this leadership position, how has that impacted just even how you think about your own leadership, your team, now that you have your own team, and even your family?
As far as my team and everything, it's important to me, how do I want to be perceived as a leader? And that's the way that I want to lead. Those are the values that I want to pass on to my team. And my team is great, and they make it really easy to do. In the family, I'm the oldest sister, so some of this kind of comes naturally because, we are the boss of the world. So that part is kind of easy, but I don't know. It's interesting the way that people look at you differently in this role. And it's like, no, I'm still the same person. I'm just doing something. I'm just in the front of the bus now instead of kind of sitting in the back, pushing the bus. In the front driving.
Yeah. Let me ask you a little bit more about the impact to your team. You mentioned leading the team with specific values. As you have done that work within the group coaching program, what are some of those values that you are kind of leading with now?
First would be relationships. So it's clearly in a network community, relationships are critical, but it's taking that relationship, building that relationship, and adding like a deeper care. It's understanding the person that you're talking to or that you're relating with, and just kind of keeping back of mind that, this person, they've got this coming up, they've got a big family event, or maybe their parent isn't doing well, or just they had this incident at work, and just keeping kind of all of those things in back of mind so that the next time you interact with them, you can check on them and say, hey, how's this going? Or how's that going? But it's building those relationships and strengthening those relationships. It's having an impact. I always want to make sure that what I'm bringing to the table has value and that it's a level above. There's a lot out in the ethos, but I want mine to be a level above because it's important to me. I worked for some really leading brands that kind of drove that home as you work for them. So it's just important. It matters, So the relationships, making an impact, those are the two big ones for me, and building trust, I think would be the third. What I do is my brand. That's me. And I am my brand. So to build trust, I want people to trust me and to trust in me. That's very critical for me. So if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. And I want to make sure that I do it the best way that I can to that next level up so that you can count on me whenever you need something. So trust is so, so important, not just as a CEO, but in the EA, in the executive assistant role. That was just, if you didn't have trust, then it's time to go find a new role.
I love that you've been able to identify those. Those three are just so you. It's so on brand. It's like, that's what I've always known you to do. You build these just very trusting relationships. And to your point, like the consistency, but at the end of the day, like the impact that you make, I think, it just shows like, of course, this is what you're doing now. And even though you didn't purposefully come up with this career path, like it just makes sense. And what an impact that you are able to make now, not only within your team, but also with all of the members of Lumini, and then which extends to their executives and those companies too.
It's really exciting to watch it grow, to hear from the members. And, I had one just yesterday. You've made such a difference. I can't, I would have never been able to do this. You've made such a difference. So, that's one more reason that's in my head when I get up every morning. It's like, nope, got to make a difference. Got to make a difference.
Yeah. Well, Jackie, I've had just such a pleasure, getting to know you even more as part of the coaching program. And I've loved how you have, brought so much of your feedback and for other development in the cohort that you're a part of. And so I know that you're just going to continue that within the program. And I'm just excited to be connected to you still and to be a part of the broader Lumini community to help build boundaries. Everybody needs boundaries.
Everybody needs boundaries.
Everybody needs boundaries.
Boundaries are not a bad thing.
No, whether you're a student at the beginning of your career, an EA, a CEO, everybody needs them. So we're going to teach the world, Jackie.
All right, let's go, Laura. We can do that. Thank you so much for including me in this coaching. I've loved it. And it's such a needed focus. It's so needed. So I will be shouting from the mountains, go talk to Laura.
Thank you.
Because you know how much we love you at Lumini. It's like, Laura's coming. Yay.
Well, I enjoy it. I enjoy it probably even more than I get a ton out of it as well. But thank you so much again for joining us today. I want to thank you so much for listening to the You Belong in the C-Suite podcast. If you are enjoying this content, please remember to rate and review on Apple Podcasts. By leaving a review, you are helping others find this content. We will be featuring 5-star reviews on air in upcoming episodes. Editing and support for the podcast is done by S&E Podcast Management. To get more tips and tools to help you live a life guided by your values, go to thecatchgroup.com. Keep your boundaries and take care.